Hello, I'm Israel Lewis. I'm here today with a dear friend, great neighbor, great father, Mr. McFadden, absolute athlete. I wish I could show you all this guy. I'll put a picture up on the screen, but today we're just gonna be asking some questions and just figuring out his journey through high school and into his fields, not only being a leader but also a teammate. All right, so just tell me about what you do now and what you've done in the past, and just tell me about kind of your career, so far.
Cool. As you just mentioned, Marshall McFadden, from Lamar, South Carolina, a small town with one stoplight. So probably not a lot much going on there. But I graduated my high school year with about 40 people, so you can imagine how small that was. As a senior, but fortunately, I was good enough. I was an athlete, like Israel said. I was an athlete and ended up getting a full scholarship to a couple different places. I chose South Carolina State, went there, played my years at South Carolina State, had a good career there, went off to play in the NFL for a couple years, got picked up by the Pittsburgh Steelers, played there for a while, went to Oakland, played there for a bit, and also finished my career with the St. Louis Rams at the time. Obviously now they're the LA Rams. Finished my NFL career, went off to Canada, played in Toronto for 2 years, and decided to, after 2 years, suffered a couple injuries. And obviously in NFL, that's kind of derailed my career after my fourth season. Canada, same thing. Injuries kind of riddled me, but, I played enough, to be fully invested and retire from the NFL, all that good stuff. So around 2016 to 17, something of that nature, I decided to hang the cleats up, throw them on the power line, or however y'all say it these days when you decide to be done with the sport. Drove my truck home from Canada, and didn't know what I wanted to do at the time, but I had a mutual friend that was in this thing called NASCAR. I don't know if y'all know, but North Carolina is the hub of NASCAR, so this is where it's all at. So a buddy told me about it. And I decided to go to one of their practices. And when I went, it was just like the same thing I left from. It was a great atmosphere. It was a lot of athletes. You had trainers. You had a lot of guys that looked like me. So I was like, if I wanted to transition and do something and make really good money at it, why not just do this? It's kind of like football. You do the same things, but a lot less physical. So I started that journey, and obviously I'm in it deep because I'm about to finish up on my 6th year.
Wow.
Being in the NASCAR. I work for Trackhouse, but I also pit for AJ Allmendinger, the 16 car you see on Sundays, and also the 16 car on Saturdays. Chandler Smith, and any race fans want to kind of know what I do. And that's where I'm at today. Obviously, that's a great neighbor of mine, and I know him from afar, but he does great things. But that's kind of a small summary of me and how I got here today.
For sure. Absolutely. All right. So you touched on that high school experience, that smaller high school experience. Just tell me about like how you were in high school. How was the culture and that type of thing?
Coming from small school, everybody know everybody, and I would touch on that I was a popular guy. I was friends with everybody. If I saw a person probably get picked on and sit at the end of the table, I was that guy to go at the end of the table and actually sit and eat with that guy. That's just who I was. That just it was the nature in me, and also just being an athlete, and a lot of accolades came with that. Ended up being, the school, the class president and the most popular. It got all of that good stuff, and it was just based off the human being I was, But coming from a small school, in my opinion, I think is a little easier than being at a bigger school, because I think at a bigger school there's just so much stuff that goes on, and at a smaller school everybody kind of tied into everybody, almost like family, everybody. But outside of that, it's really, not too much. Just being an athlete, and I can go on and on down that road, but, I don't want to make this more about me, but just the experience.
Got you. And as someone who's competed at the highest levels with the best teammates you could think of, what does it mean? I'm sure you've been asked this question, but what does it mean for you to be a teammate? And not only that, but a great teammate?
Good question for sure. But being a great teammate is not just somebody who you go and practice with every day, but just somebody who gonna lead somebody in the right direction. You know, you don't have to be the best player on the team to be a great teammate, but you can be that player on the team that the glue to everybody and help everybody with their success. I can tell you, just me, like a buddy of mine's, right? And you'll be surprised what words can do. But I am that type of guy that's like, hey, bro, it's your lady birthday today. You know what I mean? So if somebody come to you and be like, hey, it's your lady birthday, you know that somebody actually care about you and listen, and you know that friendship is authentic. You know, so being a great teammate is just doing all the small things, you know, not what people actually expect. You know, happen if somebody's struggling with something, you know, just, you know, taking that time where, you know, it's been a long day. It's hot. It's been a long day. You've been in the weight room. You didn't have practice, but still staying after practice just to help another human being out that is actually struggling in the area you can help them in. And, you know, so that is being a good teammate. That is being a good person. And things like that will go a long way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so important, you know, just being that type of guy, you know. When you have that influence, when you have that charisma, it's important to push that out onto other people and improve them, bring them up just as you're bringing up yourself. And so maybe mindset wise or maybe organization wise, just tell me about, like, what do you think was the biggest decision? You know, maybe it wasn't in one moment where it's like, oh, I got to do this, but what is the biggest decision mindset wise that led you to where you are today? May it be work ethic, or may it be the way you organize your plans? Just let me know about that.
For me, coming from poverty, and when you have a target on your back, when people don't expect you to be anything, and I was very big of proving people wrong. You know what I mean? From the perception I got when I was born. You know, just like I say, coming in poverty and don't have any siblings that actually went to college. A lot of uncles and brothers that, you know, was in the streets. So I was always big on just proving people wrong. And I would say, like, the biggest decision that I made to myself is that I may not have the most talent, but I can outwork anybody. And that alone would get me where I needed to be, whether it was in the classroom, whether it was on the football field, or anything I did at the time. And I think that decision that I made to myself actually got me in the position that I am today. Because I was never the talent. I was never the biggest guy. I was never the fastest guy. You know, but I was the guy that was willing to put in the work. You know, so when a lot of people was, you know, in high school and they go in these high school parties and they doing things, I was actually sitting up, you know, thinking about, you know, going to the gym that night, and actually went and did it. Or the next day when they going to hang out, or they going to the mall, or they going to the movies, I decided to go to the gym. You know, I decided to get in my books, and I think that's what kind of separate me from the most. And eventually my work ethic just caught up with that talent.
Absolutely. Yeah, just not failing yourself. You refuse to fail yourself.
Absolutely.
More rather than, oh, you know, I guess I'll go to that party. Oh, I guess I'll skip on.
Yeah.
Refusing to fail yourself. You realize that you had to pass up on some things.
Oh man,
without a doubt, a lot of things.
Without a doubt, and it's crazy you said that, because, you know, some people, you know, after you then become a successful person in life, and you have people along the way that, hey man, can I get this, or can I get that, or can I do this? But those same people had the same opportunities you had, but those same people was in the club that night, or they was at the mall, or they was hanging with a girl or whatever. You know, so I ain't saying that I don't do it or don't help out when I can, but just know that those same people had the same opportunities I had and just didn't take advantage of it. So it's about that mindset. It's how you position yourself. And then don't expect anyone to feel sorry for you. Exactly. Because you had that opportunity. Like I said, once again, you had an opportunity yourself.
Yeah, it's a lot of people will fail you. A lot of people will.
For sure.
But if you don't fail yourself, that's the difference maker.
That's big.
That's the difference.
That's huge, bro. That's huge. And I always speak to my sons and my daughters that hard work will pay off. You know, you'll prevail in the end as long as you put that work in. And like I always say, whether it's, you know, whatever sports you're doing or whatever class, whatever school you at, you know, you put in the work. eventually when you walking across that line, you know, it speaks for itself.
Yeah,
for sure.
It speaks for itself, exactly. All right, and just to close us out, as someone who like wants to learn more about the people who came before him, what are the questions that I should be asking? You know, what should I be inquiring about?
I think you kind of hinted on. First thing you should, you know, just ask people background, because you'd be surprised, man, the way some people come up. Because I mean, when you walk out your front door and you watch me pull up, you know, like or whatever car I'm driving, but you know, you looking at it from an outside shell. You don't see the struggles that I've been through or got me to where I'm at today.
Tip of the iceberg.
So, absolutely. So I think you are asking the right questions of, you know, your background, how you get here, where you from, you know, and I always use older people who you respect, people who you admire. Use them as sounding boards. No matter what you're going through in life, it's just a personal thing that you probably need to talk to me about. You probably don't want to talk to your mom or dad about. You know, feel free to ask those questions. Absolutely. You know, so I think you're doing it right. Just asking all the right questions, and everything within the conversation, everything a lead within itself, everything will come out. You know, whatever you may need to come out, and you'll be surprised where that conversation should go. But as a young man, that's what you're a senior.
Yeah.
As a young man, as a senior, man, it's a lot that's gonna come at your way. It's a lot of decisions you got to make. You know, so the more people you have in your corner, the more comfortable and the more easier it can make for it can help you, whether if it's college or whether if it's not college, or you need a girlfriend or no girl. It's just so much stuff that there's just so much stuff to know. So just sitting here and having this conversation, because you may even know where this conversation may lead to. You know what I mean? You probably, hey Marshall, I gotta ask you X, Y, and Z. But I just say speak from the heart, bro. Speak from the heart. Speak how you feel, depending on the person, because everybody's energy is a little different. You know, so and you'll know what to ask. You know, so just continue to do what you do, man. I'm proud of you, and you know, I'm sure you're happy to be a senior. That's a big deal, man. Yeah. So I'm excited to see, you know, what happens.
I appreciate it. And thank you for your time again. I really, really appreciate that.
Absolutely,
I appreciate the depth that you went in and all of that.
Cool.
Thank you so much.